Hi, everyone. So good to be back. I hope everybody's doing well during this eclipse season. The Scorpio eclipse was, um, it was a lot. It was a lot. Like there was a lot of purging and a lot of letting go, a lot of aha moments and realizations and things that we ourselves, like we really have to look at ourselves right now. We really have to look at ourselves right now. Like there's no way out unless there's no way out of the situations that we're going through and the just all the stuff. Hold on one second. This is going slowly, so I want to maybe shut some things off. I don't know. Okay, that's a little better. So before we get started and look at the chart for the Taurus eclipse that's happening tomorrow, I wanted to do this video earlier, but I had some wonderful, unexpected company surprise this last weekend. And I just wanted to dive into that. Like I didn't want to work. I didn't really want to do anything but spend time with people that just boosted my spirits and made me feel good. So, really be with your people right now. I think that that's a big lesson. That's like a big neon sign that we all need to see in our lives is just like be with your people and spend time with your people and enjoy community. Just really enjoy your community. I had made a decision to close my calendar for December because I wanted to. And then I realized that I actually have some dental surgery that I have to get done in January that's already scheduled. And I didn't forget about it, but it just didn't dawn on me that January is actually a better month for me to close my schedule. So for those of you that still want to get the 6-month reading done for 2023, I have opened up the first 2 weeks of December. I think I have one spot left in November. And then I've opened up some, and they're all recorded, so you won't have to be there live if you want to get this. And there's also an opportunity for you to add your astrology for the next 6 months as well, do an astrology overview for each month. So it'll be astrology and tarot. And it's January through June. The pre-sale is already done. So any of them that are scheduled in December will be January through June. I'm only going to have my first 2 weeks of December open because I do have Jack coming for Christmas, which is going to be wonderful. So I want to prepare for that. But I did have a couple of emails. I had some people message me and ask if there were still going to be openings for that 6 month, and I'm really enjoying doing them. Like this has been a wonderful. I'm really enjoying looking at all of your charts and seeing the paths that you are all taking and really helping guide you guys through the tumultuous energy that's coming. I mean, like 2023 is. I know that the last 2 years have been difficult for all of us to get through this energy and with the pandemic. And I mean, it's been rough. So as our energy, as the cosmos shift, we'll have, you've probably heard if you've been paying attention to astrology, and I've talked about it several times. We'll have Saturn moving into Pisces in March. We'll have Pluto ingressing Aquarius briefly for 2023 before settling in for sure in later 2023. But Pluto will ingress Aquarius for a couple of months and then will retrograde back into Capricorn for a couple months. And so there's going to be this shifted dance that's happening. Jupiter will be moving into Aries. The North Node will be moving into Aries. Jupiter's actually moving into Aries in December, ingressing Aries in December of this year. So there's just like the energy and it's not even just our personal planets, not the sun, moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus. Those planets, yes, they shift on a daily basis. And right now we're in the middle of Mars retrograde. And So it's been really great being able to guide everybody through their energy and to help you all, take these steps that are going to help you personally with this big generational shift that we're going through. So that information will be in the description box if you would like to sign up for your 6-month January through June 2023 reading. You can get just the tarot portion, or you can add the astrology portion onto that. And I also have, because my calendar is open, I also have like $60 tarot readings. I still have the 30-minute. You can get it live. You can get it recorded. If you don't want to have a huge reading, you can just get, for what's going on for you right now. If you are a Sagittarius or a Scorpio or a Capricorn or even an Aquarius, you can schedule having your solar return done. And I have just, the regular astrology readings as well. If you've never had your birth chart done, or you would just like to look and see what's coming up for you, or check on any synastry, I have several astrology readings available for that. So I will have my calendar probably closed from mid-December through January. That's like tentative right now, but I will have it open for the first 2 weeks, and I'm really excited to be able to do that as well, because I'm just enjoying doing these readings so much. It's amazing how much you can enjoy doing something when you, it's like, how do I explain this? There's a lot of stuff that I've lost that I haven't lost it. It has changed. There's a lot of stuff that's changed for me in the last year. There's a lot of stuff that has transitioned for me. And there's been a lot of learning about that death and rebirth cycle in so many ways when it comes to the journey that I'm on. And for a while there, I didn't have a lot of energy, and I was really scared that I wasn't going to be able to read again. And I was really scared that I wasn't going to be able to hold space for people and do energy work anymore. And so being able to do it it's like a whole different game now. It's like from the past when I was like hustling to get it done, and I was reading like 4 and 5 people a day. I can't do that anymore, but I can still read, and I can do it. I can still read people's energy, and I can still guide you guys through whatever it is that, you need that guidance and assistance with. And so when you think that you've lost something and then it's come back to you, it's like this whole different energy. It's a whole different ball game. So it's been really fun. Okay, let's look at this chart. All right. So we have happening, and it says 4 a.m. Mountain Time up here where we are, and it'll be 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, November 8th, Election Day for the United States, 6 a.m. Eastern Time and 3 a.m. Pacific Time. So it's right when we wake up in the morning, we're going to be feeling this. It was the same thing with the Scorpio eclipse as well. So as you can see here, we have the moon here in Taurus, and it's a full moon. Remember, full moons mean that they are opposite the sun. So we have the sun down here in Scorpio. And the biggest thing about this is that the moon is going to be conjunct Uranus, and that's been retrograde in Taurus. I forgot when Uranus went retrograde. It was earlier this year, but he's been retrograde for about 4 or 5 months now. And Uranus is the planet of change, the planet of evolution, the planet of shifting things unexpectedly. A lot of people will look at Uranus as a planet that is a negative thing, because a lot of people don't like change, and we've talked about this before. Especially feeling it in Taurus. Now, Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. He sort of did a dance back and forth between Aries and Taurus for a little while. And then, and the beginning, the end of 2018, the beginning of 2019 was pretty tumultuous for the Taurian energies that I felt, that I witnessed. Those energies seemed pretty tumultuous because they were not comfortable with the change that Uranus was bringing to us. And a lot of that is, let's talk about what Taurus represents. Taurus is, the second house rules the Taurus energy. Taurus is also ruled by Venus. And Taurus is ruled by Venus in a way where we see the money side of things, the material side of things, the earth, the stuff that you can touch, the stuff that you can feel. And it's also it's about our self-esteem. It's about how we actually feel about ourselves. It's about the way that we hold ourselves, the way that we contain our bodies. And very much in our lives, we often learn that the things that we have in our lives are our identities. And that's not true. The houses that we have, the jobs that we have, the money that we make, the way that we look, whether we gain weight, whether we lose weight, whether we are able to buy our supplies, whether we're not able to buy our supplies or buy our resources, whether we're not able to buy our resources, that is so often we encompass our identity in the outside world and the things that are happening outside of us. But Taurus asks you to look within as well. Taurus, they've been often considered stubborn or, a Taurus can hold on to their emotions for so long and contain their emotions for so long that once that trigger hits, that's like a bull in a china shop. I'm sure you guys have heard that as well. Bull does represent the Taurus. But they're also very gentle. They're very earthy. They're beautiful individuals. Like most Taurians that I know are just stunning. Like every single one of them are beautiful and stunning, and they just have this air about them. This energy that we have with the moon in Taurus, usually, and it sort of depends on where Taurus sits in your chart. For me, it's in my 8th house, and I have an 8th house Chiron in Taurus. So I always struggled with my self-esteem. I always struggled with my material world and my outside world to see. I had a lot of Tauruses come into my life and teach me lessons on how to love myself better. Sometimes it wasn't a very nice lesson, but it still worked. And I don't have any ill will towards any single Taurus that came into my life and changed my life in some way because they were meant to. So I'm really excited for this eclipse to come up. The things that will show us in really big ways on a personal level, let's talk about the personal level first, because I know that everybody wants to understand where it's coming from, in their personal lives. On a personal level, this Taurus lunar eclipse conjunct Uranus is really asking you where you are holding yourself back, and where you're holding yourself back because you don't feel like you're good enough in some way, or you don't feel like you're going to be able to take care of the things that you think you're supposed to take care of. We really wrap ourselves up in the future what ifs. And what ifs are wonderful. We can, actually, a dear friend of mine, Sam, who's a part of the Love and Soul Science team, and she does videos every week. Make sure you're watching her quantum energy videos. She really explained the what ifs in a good way as looking at like if you have this fear of what if this happens in my life, or what if I change my life and these things happen, and these things happen, and these things happen. And there's so often we talk about how we create our lives through our minds. Look at those what ifs. Allow yourself to see that what if, and then let it dissolve. And let that timeline fade. Take that timeline completely out of your future. Instead of dwelling on the future that doesn't even exist yet, or dwelling on all of the things that could happen. And let's be honest, most of us go to the worst possible case scenario because what else is there sometimes, Um, Instead of doing that, let yourself collapse a timeline. Let yourself look at that what if and let yourself feel what it feels like and then be like, that's not the kind of future that I want to have. That it can be easier with the more practice that you have and the more you allow yourself to see your life in a more positive view instead of the negative. Hold on one second for me. There was that sun. Oh, it's a little dark now, but there was some sun that was just glaring in my face. So I needed to put that down a little bit, but now it's a little dark in here. So let's try and brighten it up a little bit. Okay. I think that's as good as we're going to get for now. All right. So this is going to be with the moon is involved. So having the Taurus moon involved in this lunar eclipse with conjunct Uranus, emotions may be erratic. Like you may find that your emotions are a little bit more erratic than they normally are. And that's probably pretty on brand for how this is going to look and what's going to happen with this. We also have the sun down here, and it's going to go through a Mercury. We're going to have a Mercury Cazimi on the day of the eclipse tomorrow as well. The sun is sandwiched in between Venus and Scorpio and Mercury in Scorpio. And then, of course, we have the South Node here. So there's so much healing from our past, and not just our childhood, and not just the way that we perceive how our childhood was. We are healing so much deeper than that. Like we're going into our DNA timelines. We're going into our ancestral timelines on this Taurus and Scorpio axis that we've been on for the last year and a half, or the last year, I guess. It's been a huge theme of ancestral healing. I've seen more ancestral healing with others and with myself. I'm doing it with myself as well than I have probably ever. Like it's happening more now than ever, which is a beautiful thing because like our ancestors didn't know any better. You know, there's a reason why certain people are incarnated to be that person that reverses generational curses. I don't like to use the word curse, but sometimes it feels like you have a generational curse. I have been reading this book. Let me see if I can find it. I've been reading this book, It Didn't Start With You by Mark Wolin. And it really talks about how we can carry how many generations of DNA, you know, the trauma. He talks about like, you know, people who were in the Holocaust, you know, people who have had grandparents in the Holocaust or great-grandparents in the Holocaust. You may still be holding that. People who have indigenous Native American blood like myself. That's what I've really been digging into. And it's amazing how much I've recognized how the records have been whitewashed and how the records have been, some records don't even exist about my family. And so the only way to access it is through your own DNA. You can't find it on Ancestry.com. You know, the only way that you can find it is through journeying. And if you ever are journeying or doing the Akashic Records or, you know, just meditating yourself and being able to do that. But if you do need assistance with looking into the Akashic Records or looking into journeying, you know, I work with the Akashic Records pretty deeply. And I have many shaman friends that also, you know, I'm even in that apprenticeship now, you know, like it's as we begin to move forward. So there's a lot of the ancestral healing that helps us to feel more alive in this lifetime. And it helps us to feel like weights have lifted off of our shoulders. And that's what a lot of this lunar eclipse is going to be doing for us. The way that the earth, Taurus is very earthy. Every Taurus that I know, not every Taurus I know, but most of the Taurians that I know are very rooted in their bodies, and very, they love growing plants in the earth, and just they're just very grounded individuals, and grounded and rooted in their bodies. Sometimes they can be a little too grounded and a little too stuck in their bodies, but that's, a lesson that they have to learn in this lifetime, is to be a little bit more fluid with themselves. But we have seen in huge ways how the resources appear to be disappearing. Our food resources, our housing resources, our earth resources. And if you're in a big city, there's going to be a disconnect with the earth. And if we were all a little bit more connected to our earth in the way that our ancestors were, we would recognize that the earth isn't dying. The earth isn't dying. The earth is thriving, actually, in a lot of places, but we don't see that. We don't see that on the media, on social media. We don't see that on the news. We don't see that in our backyards if we're in the city. We don't see how the earth is thriving. Now, where I live in a really tiny little town, so you can look out my window and you can see the mountains, and you can see all of this lush land that is not being used, and all of this, the beauty that is the earth, and the way that people use their resources in a smaller, in a location where there's more earth. It's more of a connection to the earth, where, yes, there's obviously modern day, we have grocery stores and all of that stuff too. Like, it's not just like two people in this town, but we have grocery stores and stuff like that. So there's modern day things, and there has been scarcity in those grocery stores, but that doesn't have anything to do with not having land to grow things on, and not having land to let the animals graze on. That there's not, the state of Colorado. I love the state of Colorado because it is a open range, so the cows just get to walk wherever they want, and they have the grates across the road so that the cows don't cross those grates, and stuff like that. So we have been told to fear the resources we have. So there's a massive shift. So we talk about what's going on a personal level. Make sure that you are loving on yourself. Any kind of erratic emotions, or any kind of emotions at all, let it out. Don't hold it on to it. Taurus likes to hold on to their emotions quite often, and then they explode. Well, this might be the explosion. If we've all been holding on to our emotions during this North Node in Taurus, if we're not being open with ourselves and other people, this could be that explosion, that we talked, that this could be the bull in the china shop moment for many, many people if they don't pay attention and learn that emotional maturity part. You don't have to react to everything. Remember that. You don't have to react to everything. You don't even have to respond to everything. Reacting and responding are two different things. Reacting is usually you not thinking about it and you just saying or doing or whatever, and usually it's your ego that's involved. A response, you take a minute and you sit there with yourself and you discern. Do I really need to respond to this, or is this something that I don't even need to waste my energy and time on? But on a bigger picture level, this is election day, and people want change. And people are going to be screaming for change. And it's honestly, at this point, both parties that we have been given to choose from aren't giving anybody the change that they really want. Like, I honestly, like, people can fight about it all they want. They can go back and forth all they want. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not independent. I am myself. I am just who I am. And I focus on my small town and what it is that I can do to help the small town grow. Because at the bigger level, it's just fear and it's narcissistic name calling. I mean, I'm just going to say it. And I mean, people may not like me for the things that I'm saying about whatever elections. Like, great. They had so many times this country has had the opportunity to change things, and it, because of the status quo and because of the way the things go in this country, there just hasn't been change. It doesn't matter what party's in office. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. There hasn't been a lot of change. And my personal feelings is that the whole system is broken, like completely and totally shattered. And you can't, at this level, it's impossible to change a broken system. It has to go away altogether and we have to start all over again. I don't know if that's ever going to happen or when that's going to happen. Hopefully my children get to see something like that during their lifetime. Maybe my grandchildren will get to see that. If I have grandchildren, I don't know. But at this point, we have to listen to our inner guidance when it comes to the fear that comes out of the television or the fear that comes off of social media. This is not a time to create more havoc. This is not a time to call other people names just because they believe in a different party system than you do. This is not a time. I mean, like, you can do the smear, like everybody can smear campaign each other all they want, but at the end of the day, would you want to be treated that way if you were in the spotlight or you were doing things like that? So this, in a big way, is making all of us recognize how we utilize our resources and how that's going to have to change. Because the system isn't going to change for us unless we change for ourselves. And I think that that's honestly the only way to do it. I mean, and this is, again, my opinion. If you don't want to hear about my opinion, then you don't have to watch the video. But this is just, these are the messages that have been coming to me during this eclipse season. It's not about the unrest that happens on a daily basis. And maybe I'm so far removed from it at this point because I am in a tiny mountain town. And like, honestly, I'm at that point where, like, the system was not there for me. When I needed the system to be there for me, it was not. And it's the same for so many millions of other people out there. I was homeless for years, and it's because of a broken system. It's because we treat people like trash. It's because the system treats people like trash. The laws treat people like trash. And it's not even to protect us anymore. It just isn't. So I gave up in the system a long time ago. The system doesn't give a shit about me. Why am I supposed to, why is it my responsibility? My responsibility is to fix myself. My responsibility is to look within myself and see what I need to do for myself. And that's what I do at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, every single day. I think of myself, and that may sound really, really selfish, but I also have a community of people that the more I heal myself and the more I focus on my journey and the things that I'm doing, I can go out and do for other people in this community. And I can be there still for people in this community. Not for a system that's broken. And, so I'll get off my little soapbox with that. But it's election day tomorrow. So I had to say something, it's election day tomorrow. And so whatever it is that you choose, whatever it is that you decide to do, I want you to do it from a cellular level. Not just cellular, soulular. I want you to understand that your words matter and your decisions matter and your choices matter, even in the bigger picture. even if it's in such a small, tiny way. You know, there are so many people that are out here that just want to change the world and they want to make it all love and light and stuff like that. And what people don't understand is the destruction has to happen first, and that's where we are. We are, you know, there's just there's so much going on in the bigger picture that it can become very overwhelming. And that's where all those what ifs come from. And that's where all that concern comes from, and the worry and the, you know, all of it. So I wish you all well for the lunar eclipse. I think that it's going to be quite an entertaining week. We'll just have to see what happens. Like with Uranus involved, like I honestly couldn't predict anything. There's nothing that I could predict. I will say that everything that we think is going to happen is probably not going, like, expect the unexpected with that Uranus involved. And we have the Mercury Cazimi. And so everybody's going to be really, really like sparked up and really like and Mercury is going to be opposite Uranus as well. So there's going to be this spark in the air that we can't, you know, if you don't slow down and if you don't ground yourself and if you don't take some time to just kind of be with you on your level, it's going to be very hard for you to make the decisions that you feel like you need to make tomorrow. And it's going to, that's the suffering, you know, if we don't allow ourselves to go with the flow, like it might just be a really uncomfortable day for a lot of people and not a lot of stuff happen. But in that discomfort, there are still messages and lessons and tune-ups and, you know, all of those things that's what eclipse season is. It's a tune-up. It's redirecting us. If we're off course in our life, if we're not on our journey, if we're not on the right parts of our journey, this is going to be a really great tune-up for us. So yeah. All right, let's do the Power of Surrender. Power of Surrender cards. Let's see what we're all surrendering. I see it. Surrender to trust. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what they do. What did we talk about? Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. Surrender to trust. Love it. So let's leave that out here and see what we get for the tarot. Ooh, the feminine is coming out strong. All right. Okay. All right. So we have the Queen of Swords. We have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Five of Cups. And we have the Ten of Pentacles. And we have the Queen of Wands. Wow. Okay, so the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands coming out in this reading show you the amount of power. And because this moon is ruled by Venus, this lunar eclipse is ruled by Venus, and Venus is in Scorpio right now, there is an amount of feminine power that we're really, and remember, when I talk about the feminine and the masculine, they are energies in all of us. This is not about a physical feminine or a physical masculine. These are the energies in all of us. So even if you're a male and you're watching this, your feminine inside, your feminine energies inside are also going to really be feeling into this lunar eclipse. And this has so much to do with trusting. And really, like, the Queen of Swords is somebody who does not mince her words. Sometimes she can be a little tunnel visioned, but she does not mince her words. The universe is, I love that we got an ace right after this, because the Ace of Pentacles is a gift. The aces are all gifts from the universe, and we can't necessarily ask for that gift like before it's time for us to get it. A lot of times we have to be in the right state of mind to even be able to recognize the gift. But for some of you, there is a gift coming your way and you're not paying attention because you're too much in your tunnel vision, right? You're too much in that Queen of Swords energy, the Five of Cups with the Ace of Pentacles. Some of you are having to absolutely grieve some things that are leaving your life or that are supposed to be leaving your life in order for this gift to be available to you. And that's never easy. That's never an easy thing to go through at all, to have to grieve through that. So being kind to yourself in all of these grieving ways as we see the transitions happen and we see the shifting happen, being kind to yourself is really going to be a big thing. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles with the Queen of Wands. And this is what I want you to remember when you're grieving, is that you are building a journey worthy of who you are. Worthy of that fire inside of you, worthy of that intuitive fire inside of you. You know, sometimes you got to burn it all down. The Queen of Wands knows. Sometimes you got to burn it all down in order to rebuild and get it all. This 10 of Pentacles is a conclusion. It's, it's a 10, right? So it's a conclusion, but it's a conclusion of happiness and groundedness and feeling freedom from all of that. Let's clarify the Queen of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. For some of you, you might be getting a monetary gift during this lunar eclipse, but you don't see it quite right now, and it may not be a monetary gift, but it's some kind of solid foundational gift. And because you don't see it, though, all the what ifs are showing up, right? What if this happens, or this happens, or this happens, or this happens? 6 of Pentacles with the Queen of Swords. You have got to get serious about where you're placing your energy. You've got to get serious about where you are giving away yourself, because the 6 of Pentacles is the hierarchy, right? You see where these two people are begging and he's just giving. The 6 of Pentacles asks you to balance that hierarchy. There's no such thing. Nobody's in competition here. Where are you constantly giving out your energy and you're not receiving anything back? And then we have the Moon with the Ace of Pentacles. You're not going to be able to see this gift and where it's coming from until this stops. Because you're using so much of your energy to give and give and give and give and give, and you're not using your energy to give back to yourself. The Moon, which is very fitting, the Moon card in this lunar eclipse reading. The Moon is faith. It's about having faith. It's about not knowing where it's coming from, how it's going to get here, what it's going to look like. Just knowing and walking in that darkness and letting that darkness engulf you and just kind of mother you, take care of you, and having faith that that gift is just right around the corner. And it's hard to do that because when we can't see the end in sight, the destination, which there is no such thing as the destination. There's constant change. There's everlasting change. There's always something that's going to shift and change. So, but when we as humans can't see that destination, it gets confusing. And in that grieving time, you have to allow yourself to feel every one of these Seven of Cups, all of that confusion. In fact, fill up all of those cups with your own energy. And then you'll be able to decide which one will be best for you. And there's going to be some confusion. And once you're outside of that confusion, it'll be a lot easier. But when you're inside of it and it feels very, very real, this is what I mean by you won't be able to see this Ten of Pentacles. You won't be able to see this coming if you overthink it. That Nine of Swords is very familiar to me since I'm a Virgo. We often overthink everything, but that Nine of Swords, you can block yourself out of the multi-dimensional pathways and journeys that we have in this lifetime by sitting in a Nine of Swords state. You can create your own blockages. You can create your own walls. You can create your own battles and your own fighting when you sit in that Nine of Swords state. So the more you allow yourself to pause this Uranus lunar eclipse ruled by Venus is going to be cray-cray. Like it just is. So go within. Be the hanged man. It's okay to be the hanged man. It's okay to be upside down in the pursuits that you're doing. But when you're there, when you're upside down, when you're confused, right? When you're in this Seven of Cups, when you're in this Nine of Swords, allowing yourself to see things from different perspectives, opening up that multi-dimensional universe that we live in, that you live in. You have a multi-dimensional universe within you. It's not just up in the sky. It's within you. So take a moment, pause, and reflect, and remember your own power. So we have the Emperor and the Hanged Man on the Queen of Wands. Remember your own power. Remember that you're not in control of how everything goes, but you are in control of your own power. I wrote something on Twitter yesterday that said the only reason why I'm a powerful person is because I sit within my power. And I say the things that I need to say. And I don't pretend to be somebody that I'm not. I know my human limitations. I know that some days I can do more than other days. I know that there is a happier journey for myself than what I once thought. You can see the sun coming in through the window that I closed. It's going to get bright in here whether I like it or not. And so that's where and that doesn't mean that I have power over other people. Just because I sit in my own power and I'm a powerful person myself, that doesn't mean that I have power over other people. Never. Never. Nobody has power over you. And when we allow that power to, that comes from other people, when we allow that to happen, it can twist us up inside. Nobody's journey looks the way yours does. And that in itself is a blessing. People may be able to resonate with you or relate to you, but finding your own personal power and not giving it away to other people is going to be a really big theme of this lunar eclipse. So I wish you all well in it. Stay grounded. Man, really ground yourself. The Taurus moon, we're under a Taurus moon right now, leading up to the lunar eclipse tomorrow morning. Ground yourself, get grounded, go out into nature if you can today, touch a tree, hug a tree, sit in the grass if you can, if it's warm enough for you to do that. And let that confusion happen. Let the confusion happen. It's okay to be a little bit confused. That pressure and confusion is sometimes the thing that we need to ride ourselves through, those waves that we need to ride through, that intensity. We need to ride through that so that we can learn the lesson. I often remind people that if the lesson wasn't hard, we would keep trying to fix it over and over and over and over again. So let yourself be confused, because everybody, we all change and shift and reverse and go back and go forwards and like all of that stuff every day. And that's what the beauty of this lunar eclipse is going to be showing us. Like, how are you standing in your power while everything shifts around you? How well are you doing that for yourself? And it's not about giving back to other people. It's not that's one of those things that we got to rein ourselves in and stop doing. So no, we don't need to stop giving back to other people. We need to be able to give to ourselves so that we can give back to the people that we want to have that symbiotic relationship with. We want to be able to have the community around us where we're all working together and we're not just fighting constantly. This feels like the hierarchy system, the patriarchy, the way that, things have been going for so long. That's all falling by the wayside as Pluto moves into Aquarius. We only have a few more months before that happens. And we'll get a taste of what that Pluto in Aquarius is going to look like. I guarantee you the internet's going to change. The structures of life are going to change. Capitalism, patriarchy, all of that. There's a really big changes happening. So find that change within yourself and don't resist it. I love you guys. I was going to tell you something else at the end of this and it just left. So, stay tuned for some new love and science updates that'll be coming up in the next couple of months. We're really excited. We're going to be starting a membership subscription. So that's going to be really fun. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Happy lunar eclipse in Taurus. I love you all. Bye.